As directed by the federal government, demolition had commenced for the reconstruction and expansion of sango-ota, Idiroko Expressway and any other area affected by demolition. The setback demolition, which began at Ojuore, had landlords and tenants alike losing their assets and properties in order to pave way for the expansion of the road. Recall that buildings which fell on the setback were earlier marked for demolition for the much-needed reconstruction of the ever-busy international Ojuore road to actually commence. On Viewpoint, where we discover perspectives and embrace dialogue, we engage a real estate consultant from Adron Homes, likewise my colleague with me here, Precious, and she'll be joining us, giving us our eyewitness encounter concerning the Ojuore axis. Join us in the next phase of the show, but before you do that, you do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us across various social media platforms. Back to the show. The show is Viewpoint, where we discover perspectives and embrace dialogue. I have with me here Precious. Precious, how are we doing?
I'm good. And you?
You're having a lovely smile today.
Yeah, you can say that.
You usually commute around the Ojuore axis. Would you mind telling us or giving us an eyewitness account what has actually been happening? Because information reaching me or making the rounds is that demolition had actually taken place. I actually got this info from a friend. Now, she said that the demolition actually commenced about towards the ending of July, the ending of June and beginning of July. So tell me, what has it been like for the part of the commuters, people who had their properties there, and also the essence of government also embarking on the exercise as regards reconstruction on that route?
So like you said, I've been flying the road, and sometimes last month on my way to work, everything was normal. Everything was normal. But I was so surprised that I took bike on my way home. And when I dropped at Papa, I was like there was something different. But at that time, I couldn't tell what was different. I was just looking, and I was like, I said I was going to Papa now. Why did you drop me here? Because I felt to take me to the wrong place. Only for him to say, this is the road now. But at that time, when I got to the junction, I noticed that the shops that were there when I was going in the morning, I didn't see them on my way back that evening. So that's when I had to ask that what's going on, what's happening on this road. So they're like, government has said demolishing the road so that they can expand the road and repair the road.
So if I may get something straight from there, that means that this imposed congestion by the people there had actually given false landmarks for people like you who actually confuse you to even drop at the right bus stop. Okay.
Yes, because I was confused. I didn't even know that I've gotten to my junction.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know I've gotten to my junction.
Now, in your own view, in your own opinion now, is this a step in the right direction concerning the expansion and demolition?
No.
Why do you say so?
I just feel it's something that they shouldn't have even done. This is not the first step they were supposed to take. Because before even this demolition started, we all know that Ojuore road is actually very bad. Because like the road is riddled with potholes and this thing. That even when a journey that will take you 20 minutes, you end up spending about an hour just for you to get to your destination. Because the bad road at Ojuore usually causes traffic congestion, wherever it delays your distance. Even people, both the commuters and local business owners and all of that. If I probably want to go to Ojuore market now to buy something, I start thinking that before I get to the market, the time and everything to take, I'll just prefer going to random places, probably around my environment, to just get one or two things to buy. So I probably feel that the government should have probably started maybe the first thing that's meant to do there is repair the road first. Because that roundabout at Ojuore, you saw there's a very big hole there. That's very cool. Instead of them to come this way, they start taking one way so they can, instead of them
But will you agree that most of the affected people here now in question were actually given advance notice as far back as 2016?
I don't agree. I don't agree. Because you know that even if they've given them probably, even if there was a notice, you know that not everybody, not all shop owners, they are landlords. Some of them came to rent the place. And if I come, maybe me now as a landlord, I need money and I want to make money. I will not tell you that, this place, so they've marked my shop for demolition because I need the money. So I won't tell you. So I just feel most of them that fell victims, most of the victims were not told. They just came to rent this, and now all of a sudden they just see the bulldozer and everything, breaking down the shop, like no notice, nothing, like yeah, like it's crazy. And we know the way the economy is now. Like this thing, I see it as a setback to most of these victims. Like where did they start from? Where did they start from?
So do you feel they should be compensated?
Yes, obviously they should.
Okay.
They should.
Okay. So to wrap there with Precious on the first phase of the show concerning the Ojuore occurrence, which had to deprive landlords and tenants alike concerning their properties and assets. But we will find out in the next phase of the show from our real estate consultant, Bode Oyerinde, who will be joining us in due time. Join us in the next phase of the show. Welcome back to the show. The show is Viewpoint, where we discover perspectives and embrace dialogue. Earlier on in the first phase of the show, we had Precious, who had to give us an eyewitness account, of course, with amateur footage concerning the Ojuore axis. The demolition had actually been coming down from the Obasanjo axis, of course, for a long time coming from other routes thereon. But we have right here with us a real estate consultant, Bode Oyerinde. You're welcome to the show, Mr. Bode.
Yeah, good afternoon. Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Yes. Thanks for gracing us with your presence on the show. Now, from a realtor's point of view, might I ask, in every surveyed area, or surveyed area rather, I beg your pardon, there must be landed documentations which are issued to landlords or even prospective tenants who intend to be landlords. They are ranging from the official gazette, right of occupancy, certificate of ownership, the survey or red copy, just to mention a few, which I believe you're well acquainted or well informed with. You will agree that these documents have to be taken into cognizance by the government before carrying out the demolition on the part of the affected landlords and tenants, where they are negligent on being informed as regards being on the safe side of things. Let's use the official gazette now, which is a landed documentation, for instance. Now, the official gazette actually states that the government has recognized that a particular locale or region or part of the land is actually for the natives of that region. So a situation whereby that document has actually been abused, will the government be right on their own stance to demolish properties which are in the right of way concerning creation or reconstructions of roads?
Yeah, thank you very much for that question. And yeah, I think sometimes our people, first and foremost, I would like to state that ignorance is not an excuse in the face of the law.
Okay.
And as regards landed properties, the laws are clearly stated, and they are always very, they have to always be adhered to, if I must say it that way. So having said that, a lot of the time our people, I think prospective landlords and existing landlords kind of just, I wouldn't want to call it an oversight, but just decide within themselves or by their own selves that, okay, I don't think the government will come here in the next 20 years, or I don't think the government will be here in another 50 or 100 years. So let me just take advantage. I need an extra 200 meters or say 50 square meters. So I can just, since it's just neighboring to my plot, I can assume ownership and do whatever I need to do on it. So in such an instance, the government reserves the right to come in and demolish without compensation. However, for a well-documented property, if the government has need whatsoever to use such a property for developmental purposes in the future or any time, such landlord or landowner or property owner is entitled. Please underline the word entitled.
Okay.
To being paid to the tune of the current value of whatever he or she has standing in that locality or location. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Bode. That was a very nice breakdown. Without much further ado, in order not to waste time, let's proceed. Sometime now, I want to take a cue now from what has actually happened in some parts of Ogun State and also Lagos State. Now, sometime in 2016, the attention of residents within the axis of a particular area in Ogun State, Ojuore or Idiroko, is a 64-kilometer road to be precise. Now, it had been drawn to the attention of the residents that they should evacuate the area, which actually, the essence was because, or the reason was because they had built on pipelines. Now again, an advanced warning was also given by a spokesperson by the NSCDC in Ogun State, which is Karim Olariwaju. He said the call sent several warning letters to the owners of the affected buildings. This was before they were demolished. He said members of the communities were also warned of the dangers of such buildings. Recall I said they were built on pipelines. He went further to state that, yes, he went further to state that subsequent demolitions will cover Ota, Ojuore, Obasanjo Road, Opik areas of Agbara. Now, you will agree with me now that similar occurrences have actually taken place in the Center of Excellence, Lagos State, in several areas, particularly the Lekki axis, where buildings were either built over canals or even beside the canals, which will actually threaten the existence of these buildings or even occupants in the future. Now, I would like to throw a question at you. What's your say on the gullible landlords and tenants who have fallen victim or prey in the hands of predatory realtors or real estate agents who carry out auctions of land indiscriminately without taking into cognizance decade-old or 2 or 3 decade-old consequences?
Yeah, thank you so much again for that question. The first things first, the first line of duty or the first action anybody, an intending landlord or real estate investor has to do is what we call due diligence. So if you carry out a proper due diligence, you will chances of you falling victim of land grabbers or these miscreants who maroon them or who parade themselves as real estate agents or consultants is very slim or extremely non-existent. So I think the only way out for people who have fallen victims or would be victims in the future is to make sure they carry out proper diligence. Due diligence on whatever property before putting down a penny into that property. So it is within your right as an investor to request for the document any landed property carries. And with the copy of that document, you go to the Ministry of Lands of the state wherein the property is situated. And at the Ministry of Lands, you can run your search. It takes, within a day to maximum a week for the results to be out. And you're sure to know if that land is good for development or something you should run away from. Because as it stands, under the provision of the law, if you're standing in the right of way or if you build on a government property, on a government land, the government reserves the right, like I said much earlier, to demolish without compensation. And as a matter of fact, the law further empowers the government to come and demolish at any time without prior notice. So it is important for real estate investors because real estate is something that we all cannot run away from. If you're not buying, you'll be paying rent to somebody who has bought. If you don't buy, you pay rent to somebody who has bought. Be it your office, your hospital, your school, your shopping mall, your home. So we all need real estate. So for that reason, a lot of elements have come into the real estate sector to defraud a lot of people without putting into cognizance or putting into consideration the ripple effect on those people psychologically, even financially in the future. So my advice to people is carry out due diligence. If you don't have a property lawyer, make sure your realtor or real estate agent, as it were, help you with a proper due diligence and get the outcome, the results for yourself before putting down a penny. And there is no question too much to ask when you're investing in real estate. Real estate, unlike automobile or any other industry, is a lifetime investment. It is something that is going to be passed down generations. So it's a transgenerational thing. So it is not something that if you invest in it today, within a year or 2 years, you're done and you move on, like your car, where you can decide, okay, I'm done with this particular brand or model, let me change to another one and stuff. So it is pertinent. It is very important that real estate investors ask all of the right questions. If you don't know the questions to ask, work with a realtor. Work with a realtor. Make sure your realtor is asking the right questions on your behalf. And regardless of whatever questions your realtor has asked, make sure to carry out due diligence, because oftentimes the real estate developers are the ones who make the real estate developers and the aboriginals, the indigenous owners of the land also. Yes. Sometimes they are found culpable. So when the government excises a particular portion of land within their locality to deal to the locals, sometimes when they run out of land, like say in a location like Ekpe, for an instance, or Ibejuleki, because of the high demand for land within that axis and a lot of real estate developing companies rushing to that axis because of the demand, sometimes these locals run out of the already excised land to them. Okay. So they sell those ones out and then decide to encroach on the government's own properties. They decide to encroach on government-owned lands. Okay. So sometimes even real estate developing companies make the mistakes of buying into some of these lands because they rely so much on existing relationship, probably because they already purchased a genuine land from such families. So the families come around and tell you, oh, this portion also belongs to our family. So should, in case you need it, we will sell to you. And sometimes these companies rely on the fact that, okay, we already have an existing relationship with these people. We carry out due diligence on them and we discover that, yes, they truly own the one they sold to us previously. So they must own these too. And oftentimes this leads to oversight, or should I call it negligence, that doesn't allow them carry out due diligence and they sell to people too. Individuals also fall victim of such. Okay. Because the families believe the government might not come, or the government will never come, or they don't have a plan for such an area. But it will surprise the would-be investor or the eventual investor or buyer to see that a certain government will come into power, go through the government's master plan, and decide, okay, let us embark on this project for this axis, and such a person will be affected without compensation. So the bottom line of all of this, or in all of this, is for every real estate investor to make sure they carry out due diligence on whatever property they are buying. Due diligence is very important. So with the Gazette that you mentioned much earlier, with the Gazette number, a Gazette is more like a file where documents, like an e-file, that is why it comes with a number. So where documents of a particular area or portion or property is kept. So with that Gazette number, you can get to, with the Ministry of Lands, get to know what document, what other documents are attached to that property, and if it is a genuine property, and if it is free of government encumbrance. Okay.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Bode Oyerinde. That was an extensive breakdown concerning encroachment, excise of properties. You even mentioned or took time to even break out the official Gazette, just to mention a few, and who should be found wanting and who should be found culpable. Thank you for making our time to join us on the show, Mr. Bode Oyerinde.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. We'll get to have you from time to time.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah. That was our guest from Adron Homes, Mr. Bode Oyerinde, giving us a breakdown extensively concerning the Ojuore axis, and not just the Ojuore axis, demolition, also encroachments, which will actually initiate demolition for area of the way I say it, frankly speaking, for ease of convenience. We will tend to see it's not a blame game from landlords, the tenants, or the real estate investors, rather, I beg your pardon, or even the government on its own part, because they still reserve the rights to actually make life comfortable for its citizenry in the long run. The show has been Viewpoint, where we discover perspectives and embrace dialogue. You do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us across various social media platforms. I'm Ojuore AI. Thanks for watching.